Hello everyone and welcome to your Advective weather update for February 20th, 2023. Let's get right into it. We have a lot to talk about. We'll start with the current conditions. Pacific Northwest is where we'll look first. A feature is moving in there that's going to be bringing widespread winter weather across the nation, as well as a flooding and severe weather threat. This video is going to be divided into 3 different chapters going over all of those threats as we go through the video. We also have rain moving through Virginia and North Carolina at this time. That's heading off the coast and fizzling out. And then new precipitation forming in parts of Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio moving into the northeastern U.S. You'll also notice there that we have rather widespread winter weather alerts that are going into place at this time, and we'll be breaking those down in more detail right now. So here's the overview. The pinks are winter storm warnings, the blues are winter storm watches, the purples are winter weather advisories, and the oranges are blizzard warnings. From the Rockies westward, you practically have winter weather alerts in every mountainous region in that part of the country, and even some parts that aren't so mountainous in winter weather alerts as well. High confidence in winter weather occurring throughout there. And then in the northern Midwest, we also have winter weather alerts in place as this system moves through, and even a couple of winter weather alerts there in the Northeast that'll become more widespread with time. All right, well, let's take a look at a weather model giving us an overview of everything that's happening. As we head into Tuesday, this is what we're looking at this time. So we're going to be seeing this low pressure system moving into the Rockies. That's going to be producing widespread snow throughout the western U.S., heading into the Midwest, the northern Midwest in particular. Then as we head into Wednesday, you'll notice some ice there, and you'll also notice there that widespread winter weather event occurring as well. That's all the way from the Rockies to the Northeast. And then as we head into Thursday, the Midwest and Northeast primarily getting that ice storm and winter storm moving through. You'll also notice the rain to the south there. On Wednesday in particular, we're going to have a severe weather and flooding threat as well. We'll go over that in more detail with time. And as this system moves off the coast on Friday into Saturday, you'll also notice a system there with impacts in California as well. It'll be moving through. All right, well, let's take a look now at an overview. This is the winter weather chapter of things, at what exactly is expected to happen. You'll notice the winter storm severity index graphic over there on the right side of your screen, upper right of that graphic. We'll be going over that in more detail soon. The Weather Prediction Center is saying that we're going to have a long-duration, high-impact winter storm, and I agree, and that there's high confidence that this will be extremely disruptive to travel, infrastructure, livestock, and recreation in affected areas, with power outages and tree damage also possible. The combination of heavy snow rates and strong wind gusts will result in blizzard conditions in some spots. That's why we have blizzard warnings, and I expect we'll see more of those with time. And as we head further east, you'll notice that they do talk about heavy snow with a wintry mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain impacting the Great Lakes and Northeast late Wednesday and Thursday, with treacherous travel conditions likely and power outages as well. And that ice storm is no joke. That could be a real threat there. You can see the graphic there, lower right corner, 1/10 or more of an inch of ice being possible there, with a 70 to 90% confidence interval there in the orange regions. I expect that will go up as well. After this moves through, the Weather Prediction Center notes that there will be very cold temperatures moving through from the west coast into the northern plains, with record lows and dangerous wind chills possible. The potential also existing for a flash freeze in portions of the northern Rockies on Tuesday, and that could make travel even more dangerous than it's already anticipated to be. All right, well, let's take a look at that winter storm severity index in more detail. You'll notice there those major and extreme regions in mountainous areas, especially the peaks of mountains in those extreme regions. That's mostly driven by snowfall. And you'll notice there that rather widespread region heading from the Rockies into the northern Midwest of moderate impacts. That means expecting disruptions to daily life and using extra caution while driving. So that's the orange. If you're in the red, the major impacts, that means you can expect considerable disruptions to daily life, and you should avoid travel if possible. And then you can see there that small dot there in the northern Midwest. That's where the Twin Cities are. That's where extreme impacts are expected. I expect that the extreme region will become more widespread with time, but you should expect substantial disruptions to daily life. Travel is not advised, and extensive or widespread closures and disruptions to infrastructure may occur if they aren't already. All right, well, let's take a look at some weather models and what they're expecting. We'll be taking a look at National Weather Service forecasts as we get closer. This is probably conservative, and it's probably going to move a bit southward as the latest models are indicating, but this is a blend of all of them. And you'll notice here that we do have a corridor there of 1 to 1.5 feet of snow stretching all the way from near the Twin Cities regions heading into Michigan. You'll also notice there that we have widespread half-foot or higher totals there, stretching all the way from North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, all the way into the northeastern U.S. with the swath that begins after the Rockies. And in the Rockies, especially, you'll notice there that we have numerous regions expecting 2, 3, maybe even 4 feet of snow. So very high snow totals expected as this system is going to be moving through and packing a punch as it does so. I would not be shocked as we move through with time if the snow totals, especially there in the Midwest and Northeast, get higher as time goes on as well than they are currently forecast to be, and I also wouldn't be shocked to see that move south a bit. All right, let's take a look at the potential ice impacts. This is definitely conservative, but that is good this far out, although higher totals I would expect will be in the picture here soon. But you can see there anywhere from about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in those reddish regions currently being expected all the way from parts of Iowa into the northeastern United States. And those primary impacts, again, will be happening Wednesday and Thursday, with the system moving out of the northeast on Friday. So this is also another dangerous aspect of the system that we're going to have to watch for sure. All right, well, let's take a look at the wind threat with this. As this system moves in, this is the wind gusts expected from the National Blend of Models. You'll notice in those more mountainous peaks that we have wind gusts there well exceeding 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. But you'll notice there the winds as this system moves ashore on the ocean, then moving on in. And again, there you can see there, again, over 80 miles per hour, maybe a 90 mile per hour wind gust being possible in those more mountainous regions. Then as we head into the Midwest, and this is again as snow and wintry precipitation is ongoing, you'll notice those wind gusts over 30, 40 miles an hour. And then down there in Texas, you can see there that maximization of winds. And then as we do begin to move into Tuesday night into Wednesday, you'll notice there those 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts as we really head into the reds. And that is where we're expecting the biggest of our worries with blizzard conditions, and those yellows being where over 60 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. And again, this is going to be alongside winter weather, so blowing snow is going to be a concern, low visibility, while travel will already be difficult from slick roads and low traction on those roads. Again, you also have to worry about the wind threat with this as well, low visibility. All right, well, let's talk about things you can do to prepare for this. Firstly, you need to know what it is that people are saying to you when they talk about a winter storm watch and a winter storm warning. Winter storm watches are put into place when heavy snow, sleet, or freezing rain is possible, and that means it's time to start preparing. When a winter storm warning is in place, that means that heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain is expected. Travel is going to be dangerous. You need to take action. So that means delaying or adjusting travel plans and ensuring that if you need to leave your home for anything, you don't unless absolutely necessary. And if you do leave your home, ensuring that you have the proper safety procedures in place so that way you're as safe as possible while you're traveling, getting from point A to point B. All right, well, talking about what's going on the roads, if you must travel during this storm, here's what you need to do. Firstly, you need to clean off your vehicle before driving. This is not only for your safety in maximizing visibility in your car, but also for the safety of those around you, as chunks of snow flying off of your car could be dangerous for drivers around you, causing distractions and potentially causing a wreck. You also want to make sure that you're keeping things slow and you don't want to use cruise control. There could be slick spots that you can't see that well, so even if you're going nice and slow, make sure that you have that foot on the brake and you're always going to be capable of having control of the car in the most complete way possible. Finally, leave extra distance between vehicles and especially snow plows, as again, if you do need to stop suddenly because someone in front of you needs to, make sure that in case you hit that slick spot, you have a way to either evade the collision or you're far enough away that it's not a big issue. All right, well, talking about stuff like this, especially if you're in the ice storm prone areas, you need to know what to do in a power outage. Firstly, you need to be careful with your heat sources. Candles and space heaters are a fire risk. If you know what to do and you know how to use them safely, they're fine, but you want to make sure that you know what you're doing with them. Also, stay warm by bundling up and keeping doors closed, placing towels in cracks in those doors, and you want to be in a small confined space if you don't have air conditioning or something like that, and you can bring your family members there. Your body heat, especially in like a bathroom or a closet or something, would be particularly good, primarily in an upper level since heat rises. You should practice portable generator safety as well if you have a generator, so that generator needs to remain outside at least 20 feet away from your doors, windows, or garages. This is to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. It's the invisible killer. You can't smell it, you can't detect it in any way. If you have a carbon monoxide detector in your home, that's a good way to make sure that if something did go wrong, you'd know. But if you don't have a carbon monoxide detector, it is especially important that you practice these down to a T. And finally, you need to check on your neighbors. Once your family's safe, you need to make sure everyone around you is safe. That can save lives. There are some people that are particularly vulnerable, and checking in on them can really help them out, especially if they need that help. All right, well, now we're getting into the next chapter of the video. This is the flooding chapter. This is going to be rather brief, as is the severe weather chapter. And this is what we're going to talk about. So we have a marginal risk of flash flooding stretching all the way from the Oklahoma City metro all the way through Chicago, heading into the Indiana-Michigan border, and stretching into Ohio with a slight risk there, all the way from northern Missouri, stretching through northern Illinois into, again, Indiana, Michigan. So this is the risk for flash flooding occurring. If you're in either of these risk areas, make sure you know what to do in a flash flood. And speaking of that, we're going to talk about that now. So here's what you can do. These are the 3 simple steps. First things first, if you're in a flash flood warning, you need to get to higher ground. That means you need to get out of areas subject to flooding. You don't want to drive into water, so if you're on the road when this warning comes out, you don't want to drive or walk into flooded areas. It only takes 6 inches of water to knock you off your feet, and not much more than that to lift a vehicle and carry it down the road. That can be extremely dangerous. Final thing, you want to make sure that you are informed, monitoring local radar, television, weather radio, internet, or social media for updates. Let's talk about the severe weather threat with this. It is not that big, only a level 1 out of 5, but that does include some bigger cities, so Dallas, Little Rock, Shreveport, Memphis. This is looking like it's going to be a wind threat, although confidence is relatively low on what it's looking like, if there's going to be much of a severe threat at all with this system. So we'll keep you up to date as that goes on, but again, not much to speak of now. That level 1 out of 5, you still want to keep yourself alert just in case something happens, as again, a severe thunderstorm is no joke, no matter what the risk level it is within is. So, a severe thunderstorm is still a severe thunderstorm, whether you're in a level 1 or a level 5 risk. It's just confidence isn't that high in severe weather occurring. However, if it does occur, you do want to make sure you're weather aware and still know how to prepare for that. So, if you don't have a severe weather plan already, now is a good time to make one, as we're heading into severe weather season and it could be active. You can go to ready.gov/make-a-plan to get a plan ready to go, or weather.gov/tornado. That's another good URL. You can take those tips and make your severe weather plan accordingly. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it, as does the rest of the team, and we also hope that it was informative. You can join us at the link below for our Discord server. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and we're going to keep you up to date as this winter storm moves through. And for those of you that are watching from outside the US, we also have some more content coming out on Cyclone Freddy soon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.